Hi, I'm Allie Mills, filling in for the lovely and talented Vicki Lawrence. And we have a fabulous show for you today. Our guests are some of the most famous rock stars that we all grew up with, plus actress Deborah Walley, who played Gidget and even co-starred with Elvis. Oh, and here's one of our guests now. This is one of my favorites. This is Noone from Herman's Hermits. Remember me? I'm one of your biggest fans.
Thank you very much. I'm a big fan of your
music.
show. So, you know, I'm glad I'm here, but in fact, I was thinking that since I know the guests much better than you do, perhaps it would be a good idea if I, like, co-hosted with you.
Do you want to co-host?
Yeah, I think I don't know if I'd be really good, but I'd like to give it a try.
Well,
you know.
I think you'd be a great co-host. I think that would be a wonderful idea.
Oh, this is so sudden to let me go and be a co-host.
No, it's a great idea.
Ron?
Oh, here's the chair you ordered.
Oh, I had a chair ready. But, excuse me, Ron, could we get some champagne, a couple of glasses, some M&Ms with the red ones taken out?
Anything for you, Mr. Noone.
Oh, the green ones. Just have yourself a blast out there.
You got it.
Okay, should we go and do it?
Yeah. See, it's true what they say about these rock and rollers. They get anything they want. Anyway, their songs of young love and heartache made millions of teeny boppers, like myself, throw their hotel keys and panties on stage while sobbing uncontrollably.
We're talking about some of rock and roll's biggest stars. Together, we've sold over 150 million records.
Please help us welcome from Little Anthony and the Imperials, Little Anthony.
And from Gary Puckett and the Union Gap, Gary Puckett.
And from Paul Revere and the Raiders, Mark Lindsay. Well, I'm a gushing fool. You guys are really my idol from when I was growing up.
This man here is for me, man. He's right. I mean, I loved him ever since I was a little kid. Really wonderful.
Actually, I was a little kid. You were a little kid. We first toured. I was in this band when I was 12, and I was lucky we had a hit record when I was about 15. And we came to America and we did the Dick Clark Caravan of Stars. And I was 15. You must have been about 19 or 20.
Not that much.
Clarence was 22.
Yeah.
And we went on, our first experience was in America was on tour with Little Anthony and the Imperials.
Can you imagine that? We're the ones
They
they
taught
met.
us everything we knew.
When was that? When would that have been? Like
64, wasn't it?
Yeah, 64.
Late 64. They had a #1 record and we were English.
But one thing I want to know, I remember all of you guys, people used to rip at your shirts, scream. It's not like the stars today where people are, you know, they're polite fans and everything, but you were all teenagers just in the rock and roll business. Did it get to your head, or was it hard, or was it fun, or what was it like?
Get to your head, like physically or psychologically?
Psychologically.
Well, it happened so quickly, you know, coming from, you're growing up and suddenly you're there, and it happens so quickly that you don't really know that you're part of it. I mean, it's like, almost like it's happening to someone else.
Where did you grow up?
Up in Idaho.
You know what?
Part of the United States, you know, it's up
No,
north.
I know Idaho. It's
He used
beautiful.
to be a baker, and he sold the buns to this guy who had the sausage, right? Or
Well,
the
no,
meat.
well, actually,
And they met.
he sold the hamburger.
And they put
Where
them
do you
together.
think
Yeah.
that?
That was up somewhere up there, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
up in
America?
Caldwell, Idaho, sure.
Yeah. Is
Are
that
you talking
amazing?
about Paul Revere?
Yeah, I met him, he was making hamburgers and I was making buns, and we met on a Sunday, and the rest is history.
But how did you actually become stars from Idaho? Did somebody see you there, or what happened?
No, you can't really become a star from Idaho. Well, no, you can't. No, I don't want to knock Idaho here. I love it. But we cut a tape and took it to Los Angeles, and a guy that had a record pressing plant and wanted a tax write-off signed us immediately. He thought, this is good, and the song became a hit.
They don't do that no more.
No, was Paul Revere a real person, or was that a made-up?
Well,
I
when
certainly
we
know
signed our first record contract, Paul's name was Paul Revere Dick, and we were called the Downbeats. And we went in, and the guy says, Mark Lindsay, Paul Revere Dick, and the Downbeats. I don't think so. He said, well, why don't you just cut off that last name and
My first name was Peter. I changed mine to Herman for the same reason. How did you meet your guys? How did you meet Clarence and Henry and Ernest, all those maniacs?
Well, we all came up in Brooklyn, which is a nice place to come up from. Or leave, but one day, no, I wasn't in Brooklyn. No, but we came up back as kids, and as it was in those days, everybody wanted to sing, being in a singing group, which is opposed to today, where you have rap groups and you have self-contained bands. But in those days, we wanted to be singers because all of the great groups in those days, the Orioles, the Ink Spots, and all these kind of, you know, and the Dominoes, they were all the heroes of our time. So that's what we wanted to do. And we got together because each one of the guys did some sort of musical thing. You know, like, well, Ernest was in the Fresh Air Fund or whatever it is, choir or something. Some form or another, we were doing some kind of singing. And we kind of came together because we were kids playing in the streets, and in a matter of time, that was it.
The music got you off the streets. How about you, Gary?
How about me what?
How did you meet your union guy? It must be a small...
Idaho kid too, right?
Yeah, well, I lived in Idaho for a short period of time. My senior year was in Idaho. And
So that's how you were famous. You just start from Idaho.
I just went to Idaho. I knew that they did it, so I figured if I went to Idaho, I'd become famous. No, I was living in San Diego and just kind of got tired of being a part of the everyday, or actually, I should say every night scene, you know, the smoke and the clubs and things like that. And I was in a very volatile group. Every time I was in a group, everybody was the leader and everybody duked it out once a week and quit their job. And, you know, I was real insecure about would I have a job at the, you know, next week kind of thing. So finally I just decided to put together a bunch of guys and went looking. It took me about 4 or 5 months to find everybody, and that's when I had to hide the car and things like that, you know.
They come down from Idaho and it says famous potatoes on the thing, and people go, they must be rock stars.
But how did you become...
Well, what I did, I sort of approached it like a business, you know, and I thought, well, if we've got some talent and we can package it somehow and take it around to some people. So I put it into a portfolio with songs and a demo and pictures of the group. We went out to a little ghost town in out east of San Diego, and they had the gunfighters and all that stuff and the saloon girls, and, you know, we were jumping over tombstones and, you know, just doing that kind of nonsense, and put it all together, went to all the record companies, and I even went to, I can remember, I went to the oldies guy when oldies were not happening.
Whoa.
You know, looking for a record deal. His name was Art LeBeau.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. He had a P.O. box, and I walked up and knocked on it. You know.
I have to introduce our next guest because of time. My next guest, parents threatened to break her legs if she became a professional ice skater, so she took her revenge by becoming an actress instead. Go figure. Please help me welcome the girl who made every other girl in America jealous because she got to smooch with Elvis, Miss Deborah Walley. I think Deborah looks more like a rock star than anybody with your outfit. Now, the one thing that I know about you is that you were a very serious actress in New York, you know, doing New York theater and Chekhov and everything, and then you got that offer to be in the big movie Gidget.
Yes.
Now, how did that change your life? I mean, you became an overnight name, everybody knew who you were. Was it a good thing or a bad thing, or?
Well, it ultimately was a good thing, as everything is, but it was pretty overwhelming at the time. And I came into it extremely reluctantly because I was a New York actress, and I never wanted to be in films. And I was very young at the time. My mother primarily, and my agent said, "Oh, Deborah, you've got to do it. It's a good experience for you." And I thought, well, I'm never going to get it anyway because, you know, I'm doing Chekhov's Three Sisters, and, I mean, that's hardly Gidget.
It's a bit of a stretch.
So it's a bit of a
Three
stretch.
Sisters to Gidget, yeah.
So I didn't think I was going to. So I came, I did the screen test, I went home thinking I would never get it anyway, and lo and behold, I did.
Well, we're all happy you did. Stick around, because next we're going to hear the song that Bruce Springsteen loved to belt out while he was driving down the New Jersey Turnpike. And we're going to talk more with Deborah about Elvis and Gidget, so don't go away.
You got the groceries. You know I never forget anything.
Yeah. Noone, and Ali Mills and I are filling in for Vicki today. And we're talking to some of America's timeless performers, the most timeless performers. Joining me today are Gary Puckett from the Union Gap, Little Anthony Gordine from the Imperials, and Deborah Walley, who played the quintessential girl next door. It's hard for me to say quintessential. In a spin-out, and Gidget. But first, Mark Lindsay, I said that well, will perform one of the biggest hits he had with Paul Revere and the Raiders, Kicks.
You found an answer on that magic carpet right last night. But when you wake up in the morning, the world still gets you uptight. Well, there's nothing better you ain't tried to feel that emptiness inside. Then you come back down, girl, still ain't feeling right. Well, don't it seem like kicks just keep getting harder to find? All your kicks ain't bringing you peace of mind. Oh, you find out it's too late, girl, you better get straight. No, but not with kicks. Just need help, girl. Think you're gonna find yourself a little piece of paradise. It ain't happened yet, girl, you better think twice. Well, don't you see, no matter what you do, you never run away from you. And if you keep on running, you'll have to pay the price. Sing along! Don't it seem like kicks just keep getting harder to find? All your kicks ain't bringing you peace of mind. Oh, you find out it's too late, so you better get straight. Don't it seem like kicks just keep getting harder to find? Kicks ain't bringing you the peace of mind. Oh, you find out it's too late, you better get straight. No, not with kicks. To help you face that road each day. That road goes nowhere. I'm gonna help you find yourself another way. Just keep getting harder to find. All your kicks ain't bringing you peace of mind. Oh, you find out it's too late, you better get straight. Don't it seem like kicks just keep getting harder to find? Kicks ain't bringing you peace of mind. Oh, you find out it's too late, you better get straight. No,
Mark Lindsay. Hey, beautiful. Did you use that kick that you did at the end? I don't know if anyone saw that was good.
Well, you know...
You used to do that with those white tights and everything.
Oh, yeah, it was fun.
I bet it was. I liked you in those white tights, actually.
Well, you know...
You look special.
Never mind.
You know, I gotta tell you
Okay.
that life is so great. In the 60s, I would have died to meet you, Mark Lindsay. And here 30 years later. Wow.
I have to return the compliment. When I was watching the little Gidget, I admit...
Y'all want to get married?
Well, I wish I'd seen you in Three Sisters. I'm a Chekhov fan. You know, I never liked the Raiders. Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, all that. That was great.
I just want to know, those uniforms, how did you get those? How did you arrive with the idea of wearing those?
We're walking down the
So
street.
you know all the girls wanted to look at your legs, right?
Well, we were wearing collarless blazers. We thought they were cool, and we were walking down the street and saw these costumes in a shop and thought, you know, just for fun. We rented them. We did our first half of the show in our regular outfits. Second half, like this, and it was like playing with the Three Stooges. Suddenly, you look around, and it's hard to not have fun when the bass player is wearing a lace dickie. You know, it's like wait a minute, you know, we got something here. So we came off stage and we looked at each other and said, yeah, this is it.
Gary, your band had uniforms as well.
Everybody used to say, here comes Paul Revere and the Raiders again.
But Anthony never had that problem. No one ever thought you were one of the Raiders, Anthony.
No, they never mistaken me for one of the Raiders. But we were the tuxedo bunch. You know, the very well sort of dressed thing. And I don't know how we got into that, but it was very, very effective. Of course, you were saying the same thing. Once you see it, you get that feeling, you know, this is it, man. Yeah, this looks good. This happens. You feel it in the audience. You feel it with yourself. And what was I trying to say? I've lost my track. Anyway,
you didn't have any white tights.
I like your tight pants.
Anthony,
great legs too.
I heard a story that you started singing on streets, especially to meet girls. Is that true?
Yeah, how'd you know that?
I just heard it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that was the thing, man. I mean, you know, that's how you did it. If you had that sort of special talent, the baby to sing, it brought the girls. I mean, they'd come in and listen to us, like in the subways, down in the subway station, or under a lamppost, or anywhere where, you know, in the park bench. They'd come, and it was a good thing. I mean, to draw them like that very easily, and by singing, it was lots of fun. That's what it was.
Good way to meet chicks.
Yeah, okay. Well, when we come back, we'll talk to our guests about what it was like when they met their ultimate rock idol, Elvis. We all met him.
Yeah.
And Deborah will tell us what it was like to kiss the king. So don't go away.
On Vicki, they're wild, they're wacky, they're totally outrageous women. Hang on to your seats for Rhonda Shear, Lainey Kazan,
Hey, get out of there.
American Gladiator Zap, and Judy Tenuta.
Men are far more submissive if you make them wear bam-bam skirts.
It's an hour of wild women and some totally trashy lingerie. Rhonda Shear hosts on the next Vicki.
Hello. Oh, hi. James Darren and Michael Callan. Oh, boy, am I glad you called. My parents are getting into trouble again.
They're giving you trouble.
All of a sudden, they want to take a second honeymoon.
At Barry's?
Well, I'm going along as chaperone. Off to Hawaii, land of aloha.
Surfing. And dates and Gidget.
Filling in for Vicki today, and we're back talking with Peter Noone, who's also my co-host, and Deborah Walley, Little Anthony, Gary Puckett, and Mark Lindsay, who were all teen idols to millions of Americans. Okay, me included. Another thing that my guests all have in common, I just discovered, was that they all had an experience of some form or another with Elvis. And Deborah, we'll start with you, because I know you did that movie with him, Spin Out.
Yes.
And tell me anything you want to tell me about him.
Well, Elvis was very important to me. He kind of changed my life in a way, in a spiritual way. He introduced me, growing up a very straight-laced little Catholic girl, to self-realization, Yogananda, and it literally changed my life. So I can say that Elvis Presley.
He was a good guy, wasn't he?
He was wonderful.
Very bright guy as well.
And you hear so many terrible things about him, and I didn't know that. I never saw that in him. I thought he was the king.
Well, I loved him. He was the king. I loved him. I mean, I didn't get to kiss him. Did you get to kiss him?
I got to kiss him more than once.
Did you, excuse me, everyone wants to know this. The whole audience out there wants to. Did you sleep with him?
No.
That made you blush.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, okay. Neither did I.
You didn't either?
Neither did I. Anthony knew Elvis as well, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I knew Elvis for quite a few years. Back 19, I met him in '64, I believe it was, down in Nashville. And then after that, we met him in Las Vegas. We used to be the Hilton, well, International Hotel now. It's the Hilton. We know it's the Las Vegas Hilton. And I met him there. And he, at that point of his career, we were just sort of talking about that. He was, I don't know, he had all these people and entourage around him, and he was not as free as he was when I first met him in '64. He was sort of in a little fishbowl. And I know when we used to, he loved us. I mean, he knew us, and he used to pick up any of his friends that were entertainers on the Strip. He used to go and get a theater, shut the theater down, because he couldn't go in there with just everybody, because people would mob him. We'd all go in there and see a movie or see a fight. Right. he couldn't go anywhere. He had all these people around him. And when you see him, he would walk through the lobby and he'd go like this one there, and then these guys be with him, and it was just really weird.
It's a shame, isn't it, when it gets that big?
Well, you know, that's not what it's all about. But as far as he's concerned, he was one heck of a guy. He was a nice guy.
Yeah, really. Gary, you met him as well a few times, right?
I was walking down the corridor of the International Hotel, and he, on the marquee outside, it said Elvis, of course, and I was fortunate to be working in one of the smaller rooms. So I think my mother has a picture someplace that says Gary Puckett underneath Elvis, which is kind of cool. And I was walking down the hallway, and I saw these guys. He always had his entourage, and there was about 15 guys. And I knew Elvis was in the middle of them, so I just walked up and I said, excuse me. And he was standing in the middle of all these people, and then I didn't know what to say. I looked him in the eye, you know, and I said, hi, Elvis, I'm Gary Puckett. And he says, yeah, man, I know, you know, just a little sneer kind of thing, you know. And suddenly I was like transported back to my childhood. It was like I was standing there, but I wasn't. And I was remembering Don't Be Cruel, Hound Dog, you know, all these different things. And he said, I'm going to come and see your show tonight. And I thought, not in a million years will he be there. And he did. He came to see the show. And I got a message on stage that said, E is here. And I thought I'd like to introduce him, but Elvis, one, needs no introduction, and two, if I introduce him, the show's over. So I waited till the show was over, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, I pointed back to the booth that he was in, because I knew where he was, right by the door so he could escape. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, Elvis. And the ladies came off their seats about this high. And
that was the end of your show. That was the trouble with being with him. He attracted all the... But people with that kind of charisma suck all the oxygen out of the room, don't they? They just walk in. There's very few entertainers who've got that much thing.
He sent a message back by the maitre d', and the maitre d' came back to me and said, Elvis told me to tell you that the boys sure can sing.
Hey, Mark. You definitely can sing. Mark, you didn't meet Elvis, but with charismatic... Bruce Springsteen is like a new Elvis, right? Why did he sing your songs? Why didn't he sing Mrs. Brown, You Got a Lovely Daughter when he was driving up the New
Well, how do I answer this? No, okay. And I didn't sleep with him either. No, but I'd heard this rumor for years that Kicks was one of his favorite songs. He used to blast it in his Chevy. And about 2 weeks ago, my wife was flying to New York and sitting next to Bruce. She says, is this true? And he says, oh, you know, Mark, well, that's cool. Say hi. So, hi, Bruce. Hi, Bruce.
Don't go away, because when we come back, little Anthony is going to sing his signature song, the mega hit, Going Out of My Head. And we're finally going to meet my friends, the Imperials, too, coming back.
Listen up, kids. If you have a show idea you're dying to share with me, or you just want to tell me what you think of my show, call me at 1-900-28-VICKY. That's 1-900-288-4254. Call costs 75 cents, and you must be at least 18 to call. Be truthful now. Flattery and fawning are not necessary.
It's today and tomorrow, and it's only...
Keep them just the same. Things have changed. She doesn't love me now. I go down on my knees, but it's so good to die. Mrs. Brown.
I love that guy. Some people will do anything to sell 1 million records, right?
Where were you in that clip?
I was about 16. No, you don't have the wrong program. I am not Vicki Lawrence. I'm Peter Noone, and Ali Mills and I are filling in for Vicki today. Now, when I first came to America, when I was doing that show there with Ed Sullivan, I knew a lot about making music, but I didn't really know anything about having a good time on the road. That is until I went out with these guys, ladies and gentlemen, singing their mega hit, Going Out of Their Head, Little Anthony and the Imperials.
Well, I think I'm going out of my head. Yes, I think I'm going out of my head. How are you? I want you to want me. I need you so badly. I can't think of anything but you. And but you just walk past me. You don't even know that I exist. Going out of my head, over you, out of my head, out of my head, over you, out of my head, out of my head, day and night, night and day and night, wrong or right, I must think of a way. Apart, and I think I'm going out of my head. Yes, I think I'm going out of my head. Going out of my head. Over you. Out of my head. Out of my head. Over you. Out of my head. Out of my head. Day and night. Night and day and night. Wrong or right. Night and day and night. Yeah. Wrong or right. Night and day and night. Wrong or right. Night and day and night.
Back together again, you guys. Thank you. Great stuff. Good to see my buddies again. I'm glad you... Let me stand in here. I'm glad these guys are back together
So
again.
I'm going to ask a big question. Are you back together? I mean, been forever?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
They play Carnegie Hall.
When are you going to play at Carnegie Hall?
September 11th, we'll be at Carnegie Hall.
Great.
I'm coming. I've always been a big fan.
But you just
I'm
got back
definitely
together at that Legends thing in New York, right?
Well, a year ago at Madison Square Garden. You're right.
Right.
That's
It
right.
was
They
that
had
Legends, all the Legends came and you
groups
got back
whatever.
together. Right.
Yeah, we did that, and we liked it so much, and the response was overwhelming that we just kind of said, gee, this is great, and people remember us. So.
And now old friends, man.
Yeah, it's great. You know what? I just got to say something, though. Anthony, he ain't that little.
Come on.
Wait. Only be Anthony Gordine, finally.
You know the story of that, why I got the name Little?
No.
You see, it was back in 1958 when Alan Freed, you know, the father of rock and roll, the man in the corner phase rock and roll, gave me that name. Now, there's nothing really spectacular about that story except the fact that the man never met me. Right? Well, I found out why he called me Little Anthony without meeting me. See, when he heard the record Tears on My Pillow, he said any guy that sounded like that had to be 2 feet tall.
And now you're 6'7" like me.
I remember that.
Stick around, because when we come back, Gary Puckett is going to sing for us.
That's right.
Don't go away.
That's right, Gary.
Well, we're back, and I'm having a blast. This is so great to be with all these performers. I'm Allie Mills, and Peter Noone and I are co-hosting the show today while Vicki's away. And joining us have been some of America's best-loved performers, Lindsay, Deborah Walley, and Little Anthony, and the Imperials.
The Union Gap made the kind of music that we all sang to, danced to, and fell in love by. Here to sing his million-selling record seller, Woman, Woman, is Gary Puckett.
Something's wrong between us. Your laughter cannot hide, and you're afraid to let your eyes meet mine. And lately, when I love you, I know you're not satisfied, woman. Oh, woman, have you got cheating on your mind? On your mind. I've seen the way men look at you when they think I don't see, and it hurts to have them think that you're that kind. But it's knowing that you're looking back, oh, that's really killing me, woman. A woman wears a certain look when she's on the move, and a man can't always tell what's on her mind. I hate to have to say it, baby, oh, but that looks all over you.
Come on, Gary.
Oh, I did too.
Hey,
Wow.
Gary, were the Union Gap songs autobiographical?
Autobiograph. I wish I had a great story for every one of those songs, but it's just not true. They were all concocted for success, and you know, I wish I could say, yeah, this was this. And Woman, Woman is my favorite song. I think it's beautiful.
Mine
I think
too.
it relates to everything everybody has felt in their life at some point. You know, when you think that person that you love or care about has got their eyes looking someplace else, you know. And,
Now, this is mine. This is Gary's new CD, but where do other people get it?
Well, this is a brand new album called the European album. It's been repackaged because it's now being released in the United States, and it's very European. And we're going to release it through the oldies stations because they have something brand new, there it is, to promote. So we're going to get in cahoots with classic stations and go out and do concerts with those folks and see if we can sell a few records here. And then we'll put it in the retail stores.
Good luck.
Stick around because we're going to find out which one of these guys had the willpower to wait until his wedding night to make love to his wife. We'll be right back.
On Vicki, they're wild, they're wacky, they're